He played 16 years in the league. He is now the TV analyst for the Dallas Mavericks, and this is the next big game of the year for both of these basketball teams. So as we welcome you back into Willard and Dibs here on 95.7 The Game, we welcome in longtime NBAer Derek Harper to the show to talk it out. Derek, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
For an old ball guy, I am doing very well. Thank you for asking.
Well, I'm in the same boat, by the way. Also an old bald guy. And I was just telling Mark, I mean, I can't believe that you're at the age that you are, which means I'm at the age I am. Derek, where did the time go, my brother?
Say that again. Time doesn't wait for anyone. I think you guys know that.
Yeah.
It just means that you've been fortunate enough to be around a long time. And personally, fellas, I am grateful for it all.
Well, I'm glad Father Time is a subject matter. Your view from Dallas, has Father Time caught up to the Warriors?
Excellent question. And knowing the Warriors, almost, but not quite. I think they have a golden opportunity in front of them. And I don't think there's any team in the league that's better at seizing the moment of an opportunity. This game tonight is going to tell a lot, I think, for both these teams for obvious reasons as far as the standings are concerned. But I just think there's something magical about past champions. Rudy Tomjanovich, the great Rudy Tomjanovich, always echoed, never doubt the heart of a champion. And that's just how I have to feel about, number one, Steve Kerr and his crew. I think those guys are built for it, and if anybody can dig themselves out and make a little noise, I don't know how much noise, I think it's the Warriors.
How are the Dallas Mavericks now as compared to what they were back in May when they fell short against the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals?
Well, they were the same for a long time. I think the only challenge for Dallas right now, because they have two superstar dynamic players, is to find a way to get, I won't even say stops, but timely stops. Because it's hard to outscore the duo of Luka, Kyrie, and the rest of the cast. You have a difficult time outscoring them. But I just think that you have to defend, especially this time of the year, whether it's for 2 quarters, 1 quarter, late in the game. You got to find a way to come up with stops. And to me, that's what will decide this particular game, because I think it's going to be one of those games where whoever makes the most threes will win this game, because I just think that both these teams rely on that so much as teams that's what it'll come down to. If you get a couple of stops down the stretch, you give yourself a chance to be successful.
Derek Harper with us here, 95.7 The Game. I want to get into some potentially newsy stuff with you. Brad Townsend, who covers the Mavericks for the Dallas Morning News, is on the scene at the game, and just 15 minutes ago took video of Kyrie Irving arriving at the arena and tweeted, normally Kyrie would have warmed up by now, but he is just arriving to the arena, a strong indication that he's not playing. I'm not saying that that's been reported yet, but how different are the Mavs if there's no Kyrie in this one?
Well, they're 27 points, 5, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds, not to mention one of the best fourth-quarter scorers in the game. That's what they're down. Kyrie will be missed, because I think his ability and his energy alone, he's such a dynamic offensive player. I think it really gives the Mavericks a lot of juice, a different kind of juice. Luka is great. And I don't think there are a lot of players greater than Luka Doncic based on what he's done as a player. But, you know, there are different players that bring a different dynamic to the game. And Kyrie is certainly one of those guys. So missing him, it's about Jaden Hardy and about Josh Green. Other guys will simply have to step up and find a way to make up that difference. It's just that simple. And they have. I will give them a lot of credit. The others for the Mavericks have been fantastic with the injury situation with Dallas as we come to a close in the season.
Mavericks are 6-7 with Kyrie on the floor. How has the mix been with Luka Doncic, and why hasn't it contributed to more victories?
Because they can't defend. You know, Coach Riley, Pat Riley, the great Pat Riley used to say, no defense, no rings. You got to be able to defend. And like I said, the last couple of games, we almost had a chance to win 3 on a 3-game road trip last week. The only thing that kept us from beating Memphis was we went cold, and we couldn't stop them down to the stretch of the game. So that's a problem. Luka and Kyrie together have been absolutely amazing together if you look at their ratings and their offensive numbers. But you got to get stops, man. I mean, the game slows down come playoff time, and to me, this is almost a playoff-type game, if you would. And the Dallas would just simply have to be better on that end of the floor.
Derek, I'm thinking back to when these two teams played one another in the conference finals last year. Sure, there are all kinds of new participants here, but it strikes me when you talk about their inability to defend. I remember the Warriors, they really just did a great job of taking the ball right at the Mavericks, taking the ball to the basket. This year's Warriors seemingly not willing to do that. They're settling for all kinds of threes. Give me a little X's and O on that. Is the key for the Warriors tonight to just attack the dang basket?
I would say yes to that. They give up a lot in the paint. They're a lot like Dallas from that perspective. You have to attack them. I mean, when you think about a team like the Warriors that in the past that had a unique ability to score in so many different ways, that's not the case anymore. So, I always go right to Draymond because I think he's kind of the head of the snake when it comes to a lot of things and a lot of the success of the Warriors. So, if we can find a way, we can find a way to make them perimeter and they're not making shots, clearly we're going to have a chance in this huge game in the Western Conference this season.
Huge for both teams, obviously. The Warriors dreadful on the road, and when they have their full complement of players, Derek, they are winless in the final game of road trips this year. What is it about the last game of a road trip that makes it so hard to get up for?
Shit. You're ready for the road trip to be over, man. It's a grind. We just came off of one of those trips, almost back-to-back. We played 5 games on our last road trip before we got back here. And, we had a couple of games at home, but that's a difficult thing because psychologically you almost check out. You can't wait to get back home, and you think automatically when you get home you're going to be lifted up by the being on your home floor. Not the case. You have to play, though. Dick Motta, the great Dick Motta used to always tell us as a team that you got to play psychological games with yourself. In that situation, you have to find a way to talk yourself into it being a big game, and finding a way to put out maximum effort to give yourself a chance. With Luka coming back, the place is going to be electric. As far as I'm concerned, they'll be excited. He's missed 5 games, of course, and I just think the energy is what will hopefully get Dallas through. Since you guys are semi-reporting that Kyrie is not going to play. I hadn't heard that yet.
Yeah, well, he's been questionable. We know Luka got upgraded to probable, and these are just indications. But I mean, right? Like if a guy's just arriving in the arena now,
I would think, right? Hey, listen, I'm just about to arrive, and I have a suit on.
Right.
I have a suit on. And I promise you I'm not ready to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Only half court.
Although I think you could still put up a bucket.
No doubt.
A bucket, right? Just one bucket,
Let me
Derek.
tell you something. I appreciate you guys. You're far too kind, but if it's not half court, I'm not in it.
Well, you could just wait. You could wait there at the other end.
Yeah.
You already said the Mavericks don't defend, so you could just, you don't need
one or two in.
Derek, to that point, you're 46th all-time in games played in the association. When you see all this load management, how does it make you feel?
Sick to my stomach. I think most ex-players, most veteran guys that have been in the league for a long time, they feel like that. There's a couple of reasons why. I think the number one reason is that we were afraid to miss games back then because there was always someone lurking, right? I was so afraid that somebody was going to take my job if I missed a game. Just because the team, sometimes when you're out, they find a way to be successful. So not many coaches. I'll never forget it happened to me in Orlando when I played in Orlando for a year. Chuck Daly was the coach. Mark Price was my backup. So I get a thigh contusion against Milwaukee. I remember it like it was yesterday. The team goes on like a 6-7 game win streak. I never started again in Orlando. So that's the one reason why. And the other reason why, I just think we owe it. Players owe it to the fans to go out there and do their jobs. I mean, shit, excuse my French, but the best job in the world, I don't know, well, other than what you guys do, other than what we do,
right? Yeah, no doubt. Right.
Is playing basketball as a profession, man. And my 16 years, I didn't want to miss games. I admire Karl Malone, John Stockton, all the guys that tried to play 82 as much as they could. That says a lot about them, character-wise, and just their love of the game in general.
I missed 3 shows last week with a thigh contusion, just so you know.
No, it took a lot. It took a lot for the guys of old to sit out a basketball game.
No doubt.
Derek,
just
you're
out there.
You're a joy to talk to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, guys went out there with swollen knees, with swollen ankles, with you name it. There's some things that I hear, and I know it's not all. A lot of it's fabricated, but some of the injuries that I hear, I chuckle at them because I know good and damn well certain injuries don't keep you out of a game when it's at this magnitude.
Yeah, no doubt, especially if you're a Clipper. If you're a Clipper, you get to just miss every third game. That's the deal. Derek, great stuff, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Anytime, brother.
All right, there goes Derek Harper.